right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Pilot Revenue Committee. Calling this meeting to order. The time is now 1:45, and welcome everybody, and thank you everybody for being here. Today we're being joined remotely by Councilor Blake Bruce. Good afternoon, Councilor. Thank you for joining us, good sir. We also being joined by Councilor Govan. Councilor Govan, thank you for joining us. And I believe that's all the councils that we have. We also have Jessica Guerra for the Springfield Board of Assessors. Jessica, thank you for joining us. We have a committee member, Karen Lee, committee member, Juan Latorre, Deputy CAFO, Lindsay Hackett. Am I missing anybody? Got everybody pretty much? I believe so? Yep. Okay. Excellent. All right, so we are going to continue discussion on the pilot committee and ways to create city revenue. I do believe that Juan Latorre does have an update to give us on a proposal to engage the college center. Mr. Latorre, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us, and let me recognize that you are doing your due diligence. You are remote from out of state, and we do admire your dedication and your due diligence to this committee and to the city as a whole. So Jay, the floor is yours, bud.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. I'm going to try to do something I've never done before. I'm going to try to share my screen from my cell phone. Let's see if it works. Let's see, start broadcast. And okay, sharing my screen.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, let's see. If it okay, it says I'm sharing. So can you all see my screen? I don't know how good it looks on my phone, but let me know.
I can see it. Maybe can you zoom it out a little bit, perhaps? Is that possible? There you go.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
good.
right. Okay, great. So thank you, Counselor Davila. I'm going to keep my comments brief since I am on the phone here. We have a proposal from the Collins Center that the committee can, begin to review. And Counselor, I'll need your assistance with the best way to disseminate all this information. But I'm gonna say the big part first, just to get that out of the way. The proposal to contract and work with the Collins Center is for $30,000. It's a 6-page document, and I just want to highlight a couple of the key points. The goal is to create a policy and program to establish pilot agreements within the city of Springfield. And there's a couple of different things that the proposal includes. The proposal includes some initial meetings with the Collins Center where, we'll kind of go over our expectations and hopes for what, we as a committee want to accomplish for the city. The Collins Center will spend a significant amount of time, collecting data on existing pilot agreements. They'll get to know the employees of the city that, are involved in the pursuit of pilots and management of them. And so that will take a period of time. There'll be additional planning meetings that the Collins Center will coordinate with a number of different members of the municipal government. And that will be to review, everything they've documented with us. An additional component here is a negotiation strategy. And this is going to be a series of sessions that the Collins Center will offer with different city personnel, as well as the committee on specific strategies. How do you negotiate an agreement that is voluntary in nature and do it effectively and do it successfully. And so there's, different breakouts of, this is what the Collins Center is going to be responsible for. There's a section on what the city of Springfield is going to be responsible for. And it mostly goes into a mutual understanding of sharing information in an appropriate way so that they can conduct their research and effectively help us. There's a rough timeline that's shared here, and the gist of this here is it's about 7 months start to finish. So it's a good amount of time to once you enter into an agreement to allow them to do the research and have all these planning sessions. And that seems appropriate. This is not an easy thing we're trying to accomplish, and so we have to take the time to do it right. And I mentioned the fee for services already. And so the last additional set in here is just the project team. Some of you who have been, following this effort from the beginning are familiar with Mr. Cirillo, who came to one of our meetings a couple months ago. And then there's a couple other, professionals from the Collins Center that would be working with us. And this just shares kind of their background and expertise. And again, the Collins Center is primarily made up of people that have prior municipal experience. So, hopefully all individuals who have that background and understanding to help us with negotiation and strategy and have a keen sense of municipal considerations. So that's my update, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Jay, so it's a 7 months timeline that they gave you that they're going to be engaged. I see that we're being joined by Councilor Whitfield. Thank you, Councilor Whitfield, for joining us. I see that it's a 7 months deadline or timeline that they gave you. And so they will be coming to Springfield to do all this work here, correct?
Yeah, I think a lot of what the meetings would be if we participate in in partnership with them will be virtual, but there is a stipulation on a number of at least one meeting, a strategy session that could be in person. And so what I would suggest to you, Mr. Chairman, is through you, we share this information and everyone take the time to look at it, digest it, and think about if it makes sense. I think that, for example, if you feel that we need to have more in-person sessions with them, then I think we just have to ask that. And, that may change the scope and the cost of it, but, we're still just in the phase of analyzing it.
Right, and Jason, also, I think it's important to point out that this $30,000 will be offset by a grant from the Department of Labor and Services that we will be applying in August, correct?
That's our goal. That's our goal. Yeah.
Okay. And the mayor will have to approve that application.
That's correct as well. It has to be approved by the mayor.
Okay, very well. Anything else that we should know, Jay?
Not at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jay. Good job. Do I have any questions from the councilors, committee members?
Yeah. What's the next step?
Yes, sir. Wait for that.
After this meeting, going over the proposal and have funding been identified?
Yeah, so what we are going to be applying in August for a $30,000 loan, grant, free money in essence, from the Department of Labor and Services to help us engage the Collins Center to help us develop processes, protocols in developing a pilot program, permanent pilot program here in the city. We will be recommending both of this to the mayor uh, shortly, and we need the mayor's buy-in to this. And like I've been saying, I hope, and I don't see any reason why the mayor will say no to free money.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Karen, you had a question?
You know, it's not a question, it's just a comment, as an overview. My understanding is that the committee needs to have a report to the city council by the end of the year. And looking at the timeline, if we're going to apply for the grant, which is in August. That's going to take some time before it even gets through approval, even if we get the grant. That's going to take an additional amount of time. In the meantime, I did speak with Senator Gomez and Representative Ramos and Gonzalez about an possible earmark to help fund this program. But even if that came through, it would be after the end of the year. So I think that we might be looking at submitting our own committee report in conjunction with continuing to apply for grants so that there's a third party
Involved.
involved as well. So I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there that my understanding is we need to have this done by the end of the year for the council.
Thank you, Karen. Councilor Click Bruce. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to really a question and or ask. Juan Latore just mentioned at this moment there's only one in-person meeting. I would suggest that we have definitely more than one meeting. Reason so we always talk about transparency. So I think we should have some meetings going to different communities to let them know as to what's going on with this program. So I definitely would recommend that we do more than one in-person meeting, just so that way we can have some support from our constituents as well.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Jay, I don't think that should be a problem, right? I'm sure we'll get to work that into the proposal.
I don't think it'll be a problem. I think that's a good idea, Counselor, because we've seen in other instances that, there are other citizens in the community that have brought up the same, idea of, pilots, or at least had questions. So, yeah, I would definitely agree with that idea.
Yeah, well, let me ask you guys this. Do you think might be a good idea if this committee itself starts holding community meetings in anticipation of the Collins Center, so to start engaging the community? Councilor Govan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I was just thinking that might be something that could happen. I think this committee is well versed on what you've been talking about for the last maybe 6 months. And if the committee were to go out and can you hear me?
No, I hear you.
Okay. If the committee were to go out and do some kind of like, question and answers from the community, it would help them to know, what's going on, what the plans might be. My only concern with having too many in-person meetings with the consultants is that it's going to cost more money because, travel and all that stuff. I agree, maybe they might want to come out more than one time, but I think if the committee has the information they need to disseminate to the resident, then, I think that would answer that question, because I totally agree with Councilor Quick Bruce that we need to make sure that the residents are involved in the process, because there have been questions. There's, some people might have some concerns, so having them answer, and the committee could do that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to address both counselors. Absolutely. And I think what you're talking about is an awareness campaign where you would go into each of the neighborhood groups with a study that we've completed. To do it in advance when we don't have our marketing, I guess, marketing materials ready, I think is a little premature. But I absolutely agree that once we decide on a pilot plan, that we go into the community and explain it and get
Yeah.
the feedback from them at that point.
Absolutely. So I think that's one of the things that we're going to need for sure, the community buy into this. Councilor Bruce.
Yeah, Karen, definitely. It's more. I more so was speaking towards the report that Jay referred to as one meeting, and then 30K might be an additional cost. So definitely, before we wouldn't go out until we have our materials. I think that's understood. We want to be well prepared before we go out.
Very well, very well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to
I'm sorry, Counselor, I have one more question.
Go ahead, Councilor Whitfield.
What materials will we want to bring to the community without their input? Because if their input changes a little bit of the direction of where we're going, or if it asks additional questions that we want to add to this project, then we would have to recreate materials all over again. So I'm just confused as to what materials we would be waiting for.
I have my idea, but Karen, do you want to answer that?
Sure. I think it's the overall concept of collecting taxes or payments from tax exempt agencies, right? So that's really the purpose of this program, is to determine how we can go ahead and move forward with that.
So is that like a simple Word document? I'm just trying to figure out what materials we need for the community.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a tricky question to answer, because it really would be talking about the program that we developed, what our plan was to approach the different entities, because it is voluntary. So
I guess
I think it's to get support
Yeah.
from the community that,
Yeah,
yes,
that-
they're on board with the city of Springfield developing a pilot program to collect taxes or payments from tax exempt agencies that would benefit them. I mean, that's basically what it is. So
To that, I will also add to not only explain what a pilot is, on what the benefits are to the residents, to have entities engaged in pilots and how it impacts them from the services to the property taxes, to for the people having better understanding. Whatever we do, we have to really water this down so that it's easily understandable. Because as we all know, this is very complex and has many layers to it.
So here's where I'm trying to get at, like, we develop programs that initially don't involve the community, then we bring it to the community and say, do you agree with what we already developed? So whether they agree or not, it's already developed. So then what will we need their input for? What we would be doing is creating awareness of the program, but we wouldn't be getting pre-development feedback from the community. So we already got a lot of material. And what I'm asking is, how hard is it to put it in a couple of Word documents and explain it to the community and see if they have any inputs on what they think or what they want to see before we even dig into this whole project with the Collins Center?
Yeah, I think that's very doable.
That's not what Counselor Click Bruce, I don't know if he just wants to create an awareness campaign or if he's talking about getting feedback prior to going through this whole research with the Collins Center.
Councilor Bruce.
I just made a comment, and it's a talking point. So whatever the committee decides to do, I'm for it. So my point was basically when Jay Latore did his presentation, he mentioned there was only going to be one session that would be in person. So my comment was let's kind of make this open, so that way we can have more than one in-person session to make sure the community is aware of what's going on.
So I'm sorry, I might have missed the in-person session, and I see your hand, Counselor Govan, but I might have missed
Councilor,
what
no,
the in-person session pertains to. Is it providing information or is it getting feedback? I think that's where
I believe, Jay, you want to speak to that question?
Yes.
And then,
Yep.
we're gonna try to-
Yep.
Well-
Councilor Whitfield, the proposal has one in-person meeting, and it's for the Collins Center to come and meet with the city about, pilot negotiation strategy. How do you approach a tax exempt entity in the right way to have a successful negotiation? So I think there's two different ways we could go about this. We could say to the Collins Center, we'd like you all to come into the community and listen to the concerns of our, residents, or ideas, really, right? Because residents might have good ideas that we didn't consider. And then the other thing we could do is, on our own as a committee, we could just go into the community and say, look, this is something we're exploring. What do you think about it? What ideas do you have? Because I agree with you. I think, there's a lot of complexities of this, but you could probably sum this up in a 5 or 10 page PowerPoint and just get people in the community talking about this and see what their ideas are. And I think we could do that on our own or with the Collins Center.
Mhm. I mean, basically to gather support from the community for a pilot program in the city. I think that's like the end goal. Because it's not going to be easy. It is a volunteer program.
Right.
So I think we are going to need the support of the residents. And that's what will happen in the meetings that we have with the residents to gain their support. Yeah.
Councilor Govan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think that's where I was coming from as far as the committee itself going out, because I agree with Councilor Whitfield. It doesn't make any sense to have a report and then go to the community and say, okay, this is what we're doing.
No.
What are we meeting with them for? I think that this committee right now actually could go out and start talking to the residents, because I think that's something that Councilor Click Bruce alluded to, that there are some residents that have questions, that have been talking about pilots and maybe aren't sure what the city is doing. The
Right.
Collins Group sounds like they're more of a technical assistant entity that will
Right.
assist the city with, creating a program to, start collecting pilots from different organizations. So I think in advance, us having information from the residents and, getting their input, I think would be more beneficial, especially even to the Collins Group when they come, when we started, whether we get the grant or a near mark or whatever. But having them information in advance, maybe the residents don't want this at all, right? And we're wasting our time. We don't have to do it. Or maybe we can get their support. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Absolutely. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start engaging community entities to start getting some of the plan together as to when this committee can go out and start engaging people in an official manner. I think we can do both at the same time. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to start engaging the community and engage the Collins Center.
One thing, Counselor,
Sure, Councilor Whitfield, go ahead.
I wasn't quite finished, but one thing that we said that we were going to do is bring in some of the organizations to see what they do for the community. Because the pushback is gonna come from them and probably their employees.
Mhm.
They're the ones that's gonna say, we already do this, we give that.
Right.
I don't know that we had that meeting yet, so.
No, but no, and that's why I thank you for reminding us. That's very, very good observation, Councilor Whitfield. Absolutely. One thing that I would say from the beginning, we want this to be an open, transparent process. And definitely the entities themselves have to be at the table because, as I said before, they are our partners. And thank you for pointing that out, duly noted. We will bring them in and have it, talk among friends.
Mm.
Anything else, Councilor Whitfield?
No, that was it. I just wanted to make sure we do hear what they give back in the level
Absolutely.
report, because, we just, yeah, that's.
Gotcha. Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Karen?
Yeah, actually, Councilor Whitfield, one of the things I wanted to ask today, and maybe since Lindsay is, well, I don't know, the Board of Assessors, periodically, the colleges and the hospitals, do they come into the mayor's office and kind of report on the community benefits they've given or what they've done in the community? I have seen some press releases from the mayor a few months ago. I think it was from Western New England University. They had come in, and I don't know if there was a report they gave or they just spoke with the mayor about the community benefits they're doing. I mean, I think that's what we're looking for. If we could get a report that's been given to you already from the hospitals and colleges, that would give us an idea of the benefits that they've given to the city already.
They may, and if that question was directed to me, Karen, they may, but it's nothing that I've been aware of, or I haven't received any reports from it.
So could we, like, who would we check with to look into if they've submitted anything formally to the city?
Maybe it would even be HHS or the mayor's office. I'm not sure.
So could we or you ask the mayor's office if there's any reports given from the hospitals and colleges on the community benefits?
Sure.
Is that something that you could do?
Sure.
That would be extremely helpful because, Mr. Chair, if we do have to submit our report ourselves by the end of the year, that would be very helpful information to put in there, to give that perspective of what we've received so far. So I think that's a priority item we should look at. Thank
Right.
you, Lindsay.
Very well, thank you. Still have to read any report. So, Lindsay, so you're gonna follow up on that, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Very well. Any other question? Okay, so based upon this, I think we have potentially today 3 motions that I would like to see we can entertain. The first one will be a motion to vote to recommend to the mayor to hire the Collins Center to help the city develop processes, protocols, and strategies in pursuit of pilots. And the other motion will be a vote to suggest to the mayor to file a DLS grant, to sign a DLS grant, asking for, I think it's actually $50,000, Jay, is that the actual amount?
You think so? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Counselor, the proposal from the Collins Center is 30,000. We have a second proposal, and Karen, if you could just keep me honest, from the Loam Center, which was maybe only about $2,500. And then
Wasn't a lot, yeah.
yeah, and then what I believe, Counselor Davila, when you're saying
Sure.
50,000, that's kind of like a rough number that was explained to us in a previous meeting that DLS might approve.
Right, but I'm sorry, so the Lawn Institute is at 2,500, 25,000?
I thought it was 2,500, but I haven't looked in a little while, but it was not a big number.
Karen, that seems right to you?
I don't have the exact number, but it may not even be 2,500. It was a lower number.
Okay.
But that was without additional information that we would like to obtain from them, which could expand that price.
And actually, that will be the third motion that I would like to entertain today. The vote to recommend to the mayor to engage the Loan Institute to study community benefits provided by area hospitals and Karen, correct me if I'm mistaken on this, and colleges, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So So we got three motions,
Well, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
go
The
ahead.
loan in LOWN is how it's spelled, Loan Institute,
Uh,
studies the benefits, the community, the healthcare deficit, which means that they receive more tax savings than they give in community benefits. That's called a deficit. That's what the Loan Institute
Well,
studies.
I just want to
And
make sure
from
that,
there,
go ahead.
and from there, additionally, would like to see if they could elaborate more by contacting the hospitals and getting a list of those benefits and seeing how all that plays out. So it would just be through the Loan Institute. But the third, we don't have an institute or a place to obtain college information. I'm looking for that, but I haven't found anything.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
thank you, Karen, for that clarification. All right, so we got those three motions. The committee members today are Councilor Click Bruce, Karen Lee, and Jay Latorre. I believe Councilor Bruce, I believe you raise your hand, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say I second that.
You seconded three motions?
Yes.
I'm on the committee.
Oh,
I am. I'm assigned to it. I looked.
oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Councilor, oh, well, my
No,
apologies.
it's
Uh,
me.
Well, I thought it was Councilor Walsh. Okay. Well, thank you. So then when committee members, Click Bruce, Carrie Lee, Councilor Whitfield, and Jay Latorre. So have a motion, it's been second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Bruce, Jay, Karen?
Aye.
Aye, okay, so it's all unanimous, and the motion carries. We're gonna be recommending to the mayor, these three, motions, I'm gonna recap them. I vote to engage / hire the Collins Center to help the city develop processes, protocols, strategies in pursuit of pilots in the city of Springfield. I vote for the mayor to, engage, and sign a DLS grant application, in up to $50,000 for this use of the pilot program and of the Loan Institute, and a vote to hire the Loan Institute to start the community benefits provided by our great health institutions here in the city, hospital institutions. I will be Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, the grant, I believe, is up to 50,000.
Mm.
And even if we don't have if our costs don't exceed that, are those funds something we could use to hire an attorney to help us with anything that we need, or
That's a great question. I think that's gonna be a Steve question, a solicitor question. He's not here unfortunately today, but that's a great point. That's a great point. I will
Mr.
ask
Chair.
the solicitor myself. Councilor Govan?
Hi, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry. I have a question. Are we including any of the churches and the nonprofits in that list, not just healthcare and colleges?
So, yes, the one of the things that the Collins Center said is that we need to approach everybody the same. And but there's also a difference in value, property value. And so, but that's a good question. That's a
but
good,
not churches. Churches we're not doing.
churches, maybe I'm thinking, they were not, Karen, is that correct? I know they were included in the original data we were given.
Would it be?
Yes, but
Hmm.
they would be removed. Churches would be removed.
Yes.
Was there a reason for that, Karen? Or is it like over a certain amount of income that we're using, or what was the
Okay,
reasoning behind?
so there's a couple things here, Councilor Govan. So the legislation is 15 million or more that would
Mhm.
be subject to a 25% surcharge. However,
Mhm.
that we're not we don't know if that legislation is going to come through or not. So I don't
Mm,
think that we need to worry about this at this point, but I
mhm.
think that smaller organizations, less than 15 million in overall property assessment, I think we need to look at those. If someone is a nonprofit and they have like, it's like less than 1 million, I don't think that's something that we should,
Right.
aggressively pursue. But that is another discussion. Like, at what point do we want to do
Right.
cutoffs or treat everyone equally in proportion to what they have?
And that's something that the
Uh,
Collins Center is definitely going to be very helpful to us
Yeah.
to really iron out. I know, like Karen say, our intention is not only a value, but also I am a little hesitant with the churches because I'm not going to do anything that is going to interfere between a person's God and themselves. So I
Well,
know.
wait a minute. If we had the huge Mormon presence that they do in Utah, that has acres and acres and acres, like
Yeah.
that is a mega churches, I
Yeah.
think should not be off limits, but the
Yeah, yeah.
smaller ones,
Yeah,
that
duly noted, Karen, but I'm just saying what's in my mind, what's in my heart. So, but right now, so those are the three motions that we have, that we voted, that we're gonna be recommending to the mayor. And Jay, with regards to the grant, the goal day for this grant is August 1st, correct?
Right, Counselor. So just as a reminder to everyone, the first thing that has to happen is that the state has to pass their budget, right? Because these grants are annual, there's no guarantee that the program will be funded, but assuming that they will, and looking at prior years, the funding should become available sometime around August 1st. We don't know the exact date. That's why we keep mentioning, sometime in early July, for example. We want to have all our ducks in a row, with the mayor being acutely aware of the requests, so that when it comes in, the mayor can forward it to the CAFO forwards it to Sequoia Malone. Mr. Malone submits the application. The mayor gives it his blessing and presses his button, and off we go. Because it's first come, first serve. And they don't give awards to the same municipality 2 years in a row, which means we have a good opportunity of getting it this year, especially because we've been engaging with DLS and because we haven't received this grant, for the previous fiscal year.
Good, excellent. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Very well. The time now is 2:25. Do I have any other comments, thoughts, ideas? No. So before we end,
Counselor, I'm sorry. Can I
Go
just
ahead,
make one
Jay.
more point? Just
Absolutely.
one other thing I wanted to comment on. Maybe you would be willing to take this as an action item. So I got another phone ringing here. Sorry here. Okay. So just if I would strongly recommend you reach out to the city solicitor, because the thing about the grant is, I know we were talking about that $50,000 number. Everything kind of has to be a proposal, right? So I'm just going to use a simple example. I think, like, if the solicitor says, we'd love to have an outside legal consultant help us in drafting pilot agreements. We think it's going to be this many of hours, and this is kind of the going rate for an attorney. And so it's, $5,000 or something. That's something that we need to have in like a document so we can attach it to our proposal as a fixed dollar amount.
Okay.
So, I'm hopeful because they suggested that there could be unanticipated things that come up in this process where we say, oh gosh, I wish we had this expertise. So he may decide, we have the expertise in house, but I agree with the
Right.
idea of giving him that option. Just got to come up with a number that he feels comfortable with. And that number probably shouldn't exceed like maybe 10 to 15,000. because we don't want to go over the maximum grant amount.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good. Thank you, Jen. Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, in ending, I want to say two things. One, I want to say that I'm proud of the work this committee has done. We've been meeting now for close to a year and a half, actually, talking about this. And these, as far as I know, this complexity the complexity of this work that we're doing has never really been done before. And I'm very proud of the work we're doing. And I do think the city, the finance department, Deputy CAFO, Deputy, CAFO, Lindsay Hackett, the CAFO herself, Kathy Bono, and everybody who has pitched in and helped us shepherd us to this process. And so I think we are at crossroads here. I am very excited. I'm excited the vote that we took today. And at the end of the day, why is this important? Because this, one, we need money. And two, this affects, at the end of the day, not only services, but also your property taxes as well. And so we're going to continue working. I'm very proud of this work you guys have done. And as a public service announcement, speaking of finances, the city council today will be having a second budget hearing starting at 5 o'clock for the department budgets. We're going to start voting on the budget next Tuesday, I believe, the 26th. For the city budget. City budget this year is $985 million. All the councils are actively currently reviewing the budget itself. And so just wanted to put that out there to the residents, the people that are watching at home, that we are working very diligently in the budget to ensure that you get the services that you're entitled to, that you deserve as a resident of the city of Springfield. With that being said, I'll have nothing else unless anybody has any closing comments. Nope. Very well then. So thank you very much. The time is now 2:29 and this meeting is adjourned. Have a good day.